Yesterday in Bali was a very special day. If I try not to tell too much about where I'm from and what I do, not what I do, but like the personal details about my life, because it's kind of weird having hundreds of thousands of people follow you. I'm not used to it. I'm not prepared for it. So I do live in Bali, and yesterday there was a very special day here called Nyepi. And that very special day involves the entire island shutting down. There is no access to internet. There is no cars on the road. You're not supposed to leave your house. You're not supposed to use electricity. It is a complete shutdown for peace. We sit there and we be present with each other. We're not allowed to work. We're not allowed to be on our phones. Like, we fully just shut down and get fully present. Now, the fact that the entire island full of so many people has this actually happened, like no planes are in the air, there's like nothing going on. It is so extraordinary. And to me, it's a testament to the people of Bali and their commitment to their spirituality. Now, there's a lot more about the holiday you can learn about. It's called Nyepi. And this spirituality, they're so committed to it that it doesn't matter if you have a deadline or there's work or you want to get on a plane or whatever. We're doing this. And I love it because it demonstrates what we're capable of when we commit. And I want to share this video with you guys today because we are all committed to something in our daily lives, in our weekly lives, in our life. Now, we might just not be very present to that commitment. We might be committed to drinking. We might be committed to our TV show that we never miss. We might be committed to our partner. We might be committed to an idea that life is going to be hard and it'll always be hard and everything's going to be difficult for me. Now, here's the thing. Most of the commitments in our life, we're not actually being intentional about those commitments. They're defaults. That thing that we choose to eat that we know isn't good for us, that activity that we keep avoiding, that person we keep ignoring. Those are not intentional commitments, but they are commitments because they're repeating in our life. And so part of all of this work that I'm doing and everything that I share on social media is to encourage people to get back in the driver's seat of their life. To start to look at where can I be intentional and committed to something? Because as I just shared about this holiday, when we get committed, incredible things happen. Miracles happen. There's nowhere, I grew up in Vancouver, Canada. There's no way I could see that happening in Vancouver, Canada, where we could shut down the entire city and everyone would agree to it. But here that happens. It's extraordinary. And so it's just a demonstration of what's possible in my mind when we commit. Now let's transfer that into relationship. When we commit ourselves to a person, when we commit ourselves to love, well, what becomes possible when we make that commitment day in and day out? Well, I can tell you, as someone who's married now for almost 2 years with a young son, to my wife of almost 5 years, we've been together almost 5 years. Yeah, 5 years now. The relationship we have today, I didn't know is one that could exist. Now, why? Is it because I couldn't find someone like the way we are together now? No, it's actually been created. My wife and I have gone through thousands of negotiations, thousands of fights, thousands of agreements, thousands of disagreements, thousands of hugs and kisses and adventures together. And that's shaped who we are. And so this actual building, this commitment, opens up things for our life that we can't get instantly. And the challenge that I think many of us face right now in relationships and life is we want a lot of things instantly. And if we don't get it instantly, we want the next thing that comes instantly. And this is where social media is this beautiful gift, but also this terrible thing that we can get addicted to. Those hits of dopamine that just spike us and more, get something right away. Well, often some of the best things in life take commitment. And so part of what I'm urging all of us to do, everyone who's watching this, is to start to get clear about what are you committed to? Where are you putting your time and attention? Is that genuinely where you want to put your time and attention? And if it's not, maybe it's time to get a little more clear. Maybe it's time to send yourself on a clear action that is setting you up for the future that you want. Now, I want everyone to do coaching. So if you want support with that, coaching is a great place to go. I encourage you to reach out to sign up for coaching with me or my team or anyone else that inspires you. But don't let yourself be that person that just goes from one social media account to another or one piece of content to another without actually a pattern interruption. Something I know I used to be committed to was YouTube. I used to sit on YouTube, especially in university, for hours. And you know what I'd watch? I'd watch inspirational content. But what I started to realize is it wasn't inspirational content for me. It was entertainment. Because if it was inspirational content, I would watch one, turn it off, and then go do something. I would take action. But I wouldn't. I would just go to the next video, and the next video, and the next video. I became addicted to this inspirational content that wasn't actually inspiring me. It was keeping my ass in the seat. And so all this work that I'm doing, all these videos where we're doing these back and forth conversations, is to inspire interruption, to inspire a new level of commitment towards the quality of life that you can have. It is worth it. It is so magical, the kinds of life that we can have with commitment, with connection. I believe that we all can have this beautiful connection that we want if we can get out of our own way. That's where the courage comes in. Everyone I work with, everyone I think who's following me is intelligent people. They're people that are up to stuff. They're paying attention. Now, there's nothing wrong with you. And let's see where we can get intentional. Let's see where we can start to get back in the driver's seat of the areas that really matter to us in our life. And so I'd love to answer some questions for people. So if you got some questions, throw them in the question box. I'll stay for another 5 or 10 minutes here and answer some questions about relationships, about commitment, about life. What are you dealing with right now? Let's see if we can give you some momentum. And I encourage you, sign up for a discovery call with me or my team. For 2 more weeks, I am offering paid discovery calls with me, and then I will not be offering discovery calls again. I'm transforming how I do my business. I've been working with the company for 6 months to create the best program that I've ever created to elevate on some of the work I've already been doing for 5 years. So discovery calls will not be available after 2 weeks with me. So I encourage you to sign up for those. Now, also, when you see what's coming, you're going to be thinking it's amazing. If you don't, well, my intention is that you're going to think it's amazing, that you're going to love it, and it's going to make a huge difference for people in their relationships. So let's see some of these questions. What are my thoughts on polyamory? Ooh, hot topic. Not really to do with what we're talking about right now, but I'll happily share that. I have never seen it work. I've never seen polyamory work. But then again, that depends how you define it working. What I mean by that is I haven't seen people in polyamory sustain a long-term relationship. I haven't seen that happen. As far as I'm concerned, it sounds like a headache trying to manage all those things, and I think it'd be just a absolute massive opportunity for jealousy and confusion. So personally, my wife is who I'm committed to, and that's all I'm up to right now. That's all I'm up to for the rest of my life. So if polyamory works for you, bravo to you. I haven't seen it work. I think it's just too much to manage, and I think given our humanity and our temptation to protect ourselves and be driven by fear, we're kind of throwing ourselves in the lion's den with polyamory. But I get why people go after it and want it. What drives commitment in a relationship? What drives commitment in a relationship? I mean, the obvious answer I see is you. Like our integrity. So some of the work I do in my Love Over Fear program is we define what integrity is for you and what a life of integrity would look like. And your integrity is essentially how you relate to your own words, how you relate to yourself. And so if I throw around the word commitment, if I am not intentional with my life, chances are I'm lacking a lot of integrity. And so my words don't mean a lot. And so when you ask me the question, what drives commitment in relationship? I say, I do. I say I'm committed to my wife, therefore I am. And I have my actions follow through on that commitment. All the time? No, not all the time. But it's my word to myself and my integrity that gives that substance. So I would say that's what drives that commitment. It's up to us to make the commitment. when we don't feel like it. Maybe we're not in the mood. You know, there are times where sometimes my wife and I aren't in the mood to look out for each other. There's plenty of times where we are. And so what are we going to do when we're not in the mood? Well, we're going to lean on what we're committed to. I said I would be there for her. I said I was going to follow through on this. So even though I'm not in the mood, I'm going to anyway. And if there's some other way that we can negotiate that for each other that is more empowering and more exciting, then we do that. So hopefully that answers your question, but I think it's more simple than we think. It's a matter of our choice. How do you question someone who's cheating on you? I mean, I wouldn't, personally. How do you question someone? Why would you question someone who's cheating on you? If they're cheating on you, they're cheating on you. So you got the information. Now it's what are you going to do with that information? Maybe there's a different question you meant to ask there. I'm not sure. But if I found out someone was cheating on me, it's not like there's no questions to ask. It's, okay, now am I okay with that? If the answer is no, then I'm out of this relationship. Now it's going to take courage to walk away if that's someone you got a big past with, but I mean, I wouldn't really have any questions about it personally. Elevating Andrea, you said scroll up, you had a comment also wondering what would I be song work G if you. Yeah, you're going to need to write that again. Scrolling up to whatever your question was. I'm trying to find it. Bear with me as I scroll, you guys. Write in a question in the question box or on the comments if you got one. Okay, I can only find one that you said, but I think you said two. You said, I know you said it's not the city, but I swear it's Vancouver. I have to go to apps because I work from home and I'm not out a lot and it's all fraud and a shit show and I tried so many times. Okay, so you're someone who's discouraged about dating. I highly encourage you to join our workshop happening this Thursday at 6 p.m. Vancouver time. Thursday at 6 p.m. Vancouver time. The link in my bio, is it in my bio? Can't remember if it's in my bio or not. But I'll post it in the name of my story tomorrow or something. I'm doing a workshop with someone on my team. Caitlin and Roy are going to be leading the workshop. Caitlin has met her boyfriend from the app, so it's definitely possible. But what we really want to focus on is not the external factors, you guys. This is one of the things I'm trying to shift for everybody. It's so easy to focus on where I live, the apps, my job, my past, all these external things. As long as our attention's there, we don't have power in our relationship situation. We're giving away our power. Now I get it, you got a lot of evidence for it. I've heard many people say it's Vancouver, or it's LA, or it's Sydney, Australia, or it's Wellington, New Zealand, or it's Cairo, Egypt. I've heard that too. Okay, so it can't be all these cities. If you blame the city, well, then that suggests that we have nothing to do with it personally. Now, unless there isn't a single human being in Vancouver that is happily married, then that statement doesn't apply to everyone. So if that doesn't apply to everyone, then I invite us to shift and get curious about what is it about our perspective? What is it about our mentality that's shaping what's possible for us? Because I don't believe it's up to chance. I really don't. And if you do believe it's up to chance, perhaps my content isn't for you. Perhaps you're looking for some random luck. I don't believe in that. I think people who are lucky are also the same people who are prepared, who are also the same people who are curious and intentional. We can create our own luck. So I'm not sure if that was the exact question you were asking before, but you don't think it's the city. Good. Good job. That's great, Andrea. You're looking at, maybe it's not a city. Maybe it's something else. That's great. Good. Let's get curious about what's at play here. Still recreating, revising my game weekly. Yeah, Kelly. Awesome. Good to see you on here. That's a former participant of the Love Over Fear program. Good to see you on here, Kelly. Yeah. So what Kelly's referring to is in the first part of my Love Over Fear program, we have you create a game. Now, we have you create a game, which is essentially what you want to experience and what are the measurable results you want to see in your life over the next 4 to 5 months. It can be beyond that, but that's typically the duration of the program. Now, the game, we call it a game because I believe personal development can be fun. It doesn't have to be this uncomfortable thing that it's going to be brutal teeth pulling. We can make it a game. We can go play that game. And as we do that, we get creative. We get open to discovery. Imagine if we looked at dating like that it can be this creative discovering experience. Well, that's going to totally shift what's possible for us. Now you're this open, playful person on a date rather than this cynical, resigned person on a date. Which sounds more dateable to you, right? So we're totally shifting the mentality there. Kelly, thank you so much for sharing that about that. And I miss you. I miss you and our wonderful group that we got to have. Alan's asking, how do I overcome the feeling of need to go hunting? I go from work to home and back, and I just wish I could enjoy things as they come. Got it. So it feels like you got to do a lot of work to create this relationship. It feels like you have to kind of almost force it. Yeah, well, I get that. Now, there's an assumption in the background of that. I'm probably not saying your name right. It looks like Elaine or Elan. There's an assumption in the background that it's going to take a lot of work. Now, like I just shared around what Kelly said, if we make it a game, well, a game sounds fun. A game's not something I'm going to play. Now it doesn't become work. It becomes this thing that I get to go experience. And so first is shifting the mentality that maybe the assumption you have in the background is I don't have to go hunt for it. What if I shifted it to how do I be a magnet for what I want? How do I have what I want show up for me? Well, now we're not hunting. Now that's going to take some curiosity. Well, if I'm becoming a magnet, what would that look like? Where am I trying to control where maybe I don't have to? Now, I'm not saying sit on the couch and wait for, your wonderful person to show up at your door. I'm saying stop trying to control the thing and instead start to become a magnet for it. Now, again, this is why I have a coaching program. Some of you guys ask wonderful questions that you're looking for like a one-off answer to. Sign up for coaching. Like, I'm not trying to push any of you here, but like coaching is such an amazing experience to support you with all of this, to provide you with a structure. Okay? Don't do this stuff by yourself. I've been getting coaching for 11 years and I'm never going to stop. I'm never going to stop because every time I do, I discover something new that gets easier. I find out something about myself. I develop a new pathway. Like, this stuff can be easier if we can let it. But so many of us walk around with this forced mentality. I'm going to push through. I can make it happen. I can do it on my own. You probably can. But why? That's ego. You don't have to do it on your own. An easier path gets prevented for you. Do you have the courage to take the path of least resistance? Or are we just wanting to do it so we can prove people wrong and all this bullshit? It's like, that's so fear-based. That's not courage-based. That's not love-based. That's so ego. So I invite you to see where you could become a magnet for what you want, where you could possibly give up control. Now, it doesn't mean be passive. We're looking to find that sweet spot for you. So hopefully that answer gives you a place to look. I see a couple in the question box here. How do I work on attachment issues while I'm single? I recently started dating again. And I don't want to repeat the cycle. Well, bravo to you for your commitment to working on attachment and to letting go of repeating this cycle. I'm very excited for you. So how do you work on that? Well, you want to start to notice, depending on what your attachment style is, you want to start to notice signs of it running the show. Okay? So you find yourself getting attached to something. That means you're probably finding yourself wanting to control. You probably find yourself wanting to fight to be right, to influence, to kind of get your hands on all the levers. When you notice that, you want to ask yourself, okay, I'm doing this to avoid what? Why am I trying to control here? Well, probably because I'm trying to avoid feeling like something's uncertain. I'm trying to avoid feeling like I'm going to be abandoned. I'm trying to avoid feeling something. Okay, so your job is to feel that. The act of you avoiding it is actually what's making it stronger. Some of you might have heard the term, what you resist persists. Okay, so you feel how you feel. You can't help how you feel. It's just what's happening. Okay? Now, the more you try to say, don't feel that, or I shouldn't feel this way, the more you end up feeling it. So the first step is to really acknowledge, okay, I'm feeling anxious. I'm feeling like I'm going to be let down. So I would like to find a way to control that so I don't get let down. Okay, chances are that's not going to work. So first, can I acknowledge what's going on here? Can I say, this is how I feel. Okay, now that I feel that way, what is it that would make a difference for me right now? What could I be responsible for? Now, most of the time when people ask that question, what is it that can make a difference for me right now? They look at something that someone else should do. Well, if you would do this and if you would do that, okay, yeah, that's one way to go, but that's still kind of a powerless position. So instead, what is it that I could get responsible for? Maybe I need a break. Maybe it's time to put my phone down and stop seeing when was the last time that they texted me. Maybe it's time for me to spend a little interest on that thing that I keep avoiding, or that pile of laundry over there, or whatever it is that I'm not really taking action on that supports me. Okay, so bravo to you. So excited for you taking this on. And give yourself a bit of grace too in this process. You know, you're looking to be secure in your dating and as you enter a new relationship. Give yourself some grace here. You don't have to do this perfectly. You're going to get triggered. You're going to get thrown off. You're going to get attached. That's normal. See what you can give up as you find yourself getting attached. Can I give up something here? And you'll get stronger and stronger with that muscle. Next question. Is no contact a good idea for a man who says he's not ready to commit? I would probably need a lot more details. If someone's not ready to commit, and they've told you that, they've told you what they're available for. Okay, so he's actually said to you, this is what I'm open to. Now, if you move forward with that person, you got to acknowledge that they told you. So you don't get to be surprised about them not committing. You don't get to expect them to commit. They told you what they're available for. Okay, so if that works for you, move on forward. I got a feeling it doesn't work for you, otherwise you wouldn't be bringing this up. So it sounds like you're looking for commitment. Okay, so your work now is to say no to whatever is not that. Part of what has us position ourselves to what we want is saying no to what isn't that. Okay? If you want to elevate your relationship, you got to say no. If you want a committed, loving relationship, you got to say no to people who are not in a place of commitment. Early. You know, all this, well, maybe someday they'll be interested in me. They're not. Okay? So why are you working so hard? Why are you making it difficult on yourself? You want to make it easy for yourself by saying no to that. Now, we talked about attachment a moment ago. It might be difficult to say no to that because you might be attached to that person. And so instead of being attached to that person, you want to be committed to your outcome. What is your outcome? Your outcome is a loving, committed relationship. Okay, well, if you want that, you want to take action that's aligned with that commitment. And so you hanging out with someone who's not committed, you got to ask yourself, is that in alignment with what you're committed to? I think we've already kind of given away the answer. So I'll let you do with that what you see fit. Someone asks, in 2 years dating stage, if the man doesn't ask questions about the future, what do you think he doesn't want to commit in the relationship? I don't know. I would invite you to ask some questions. Okay, just because a person is not talking about the future doesn't mean anything. Okay, this is what all my context is about. I want to interrupt this. If they do this, it means this thing. I don't know what your situation is with that person, but I invite you to start a conversation about the future. They might just be nervous. They might just be shy and scared. We don't know. I'm making that up too, just like you're making up that they're not committed to you. We don't know. Let's go find out. Okay? By you asking this question, it lets you off the hook from being courageous enough to have the conversation. Notice that conversation is going to be a vulnerable one, right? And so you're looking for me to give you the answer. I don't do that in coaching. I'm not here to tell you how to live your life. I'm here to support you to trust yourself so that you can live your life any way that you want to live it. That is a way more empowering place to be than to look for me to give you any advice. All right? Because deep down, we all know what works for us. We know what we want in life, but we've lost our way. You know, we've all lost our way from breakups, from other people's opinions. You know, we started to look externally for what we know internally. And so we're looking to rebuild that relationship to ourselves. And then everything else solves itself from there. Okay? So I think you know what to do here. Go have that conversation. Go be bold. All right, let's do one or two more and then I'm out of here. If an avoidant person, as well as anxious, and now I think you're saying I'm an avoidant person as well as anxious. I'm confused as to where I stand. I thought I was anxious all along, but at the spectrum of attachment, I am as much avoidant as anxious. Okay, so it moves. None of us were born anxious or avoidant, okay? We were born learning all this stuff. This all came with time. So you can be anxious and you can be avoidant and you can be secure. I've been all of those stages. Okay, there is more, but we just focus on these three for simplicity. So if you might have moved based off of a recent relationship or interaction, okay, but the real intention is to be secure, right? That's what we're after. How do I be secure? So I get your confusion. I wouldn't try to figure out too much here. I would more so just give yourself some grace that before you were anxious, now you've taken the attachment quiz is what this person is referring to. Go to thebookattached.com to take your attachment style quiz. Excellent book, excellent quiz. Highly recommend it. It's included in my program as well. So now you've just moved to avoiding a little bit. Okay, so it could be just based off something recently happened. So I would focus on less like trying to make sense of that and more so on what it would look like for you to progress into being secure. What would your journey of secure attachment look like? What would simple progress towards that look like? Keep it small, keep it simple. And you'll be able to, what we're looking for is, what are some of the behaviors I want to adopt that have me being secure? What would it look like for me to practice those behaviors with my friends, with my family, with my romantic relationships and my dating? Okay, that's going to be a great place for you to put your attention. How do I differentiate if I have commitment issues, attachment issues, I think I'm disorganized, or if he's just not the right person for me? How do I trust my choice? Yes, this is kind of referring to what we were sharing before. It's some of us, we've spent so much time in our head, being logical, being analytical, listening to other people's perspectives, that we've been disconnected to our heart. We've been disconnected to our intuition. Okay, that inner guide that says, go left. I don't know why, because I feel like I should. So how do you differentiate whether it's your attachment issues or commitment issues at play, or if it's simply your intuition? So this is how you do that. You ask the question, is this action coming from love or from fear? I very intentionally named my program Love Over Fear because I believe every choice we make, every action we take is either coming from love or from fear. Me being on this live with you is an act of love. Me choosing not to do the live because I don't know what to say or I'm scared of what you might think or it might not get enough views, that's fear. So if you think, Lady Grinning Soul 90, if you think about whether you want to be with this person or not, choosing to break up with them, choosing to end things, is that coming from love, from alignment, from, this feels like I'm choosing myself and I'm standing for myself? Or is it coming from fear? Am I afraid to have a conversation? Am I afraid to talk about this with this person? Is there something I'm withholding? That's going to be fear. So hopefully that gives you some kind of way to wedge yourself in and take some action. All right, thank you for the question. And you guys, I'm here for coaching, okay? I've got discovery calls available for 2.5 weeks. It's just March. Once April hits, there's no more discovery calls with me. There's going to be a whole new system. If you want to talk to me after April, it's going to be through working with me in my programs, okay? We offer discovery calls as an opportunity, basically like test drive coaching, all right? But I'm no longer going to offer that opportunity. I think my coaching is amazing, makes a difference for a lot of people. Our program is going to be elevated to new heights, so we're actually not going to offer the test drive. It's going to be like, here's the car, do you want it? So if you want to learn about relationship coaching and how we do it, apply for a discovery call. There's a link in my bio to do that. You can do one that's paid with me. I don't offer complimentary discovery calls anymore. I did for years and years. Now you need to pay if you want a discovery call with me. Or a complimentary discovery call, a free discovery call, with a member of my team. I have 2 amazing coaches on my team. Those 2 coaches are also leading an amazing workshop this week. So there's lots of opportunities to get support. Question is, coming back to the theme of this video, What are you committed to? Are you committed to love? Are you committed to fear? I hope we nudged your direction towards love in this conversation. Thank you guys so much for your questions. Sending you love wherever you are with whatever you're dealing with, and we'll talk again soon.